Hello and welcome back to my independent redesign of Sail VR. Today I'm just going to be going over my design process and what I'm going to be working through into going to my next steps. Wanted to give a little bit of background about Sail VR and just go through the product history. Sail VR was started by a developer named Garrett Cook early in the pandemic. Recently, he's expanded two additional developers under the name Red Team Interact. He's gained a lot of inspiration from Sea of Thieves, and Sea of Thieves is not a VR game, but it is a sailing game. It's a pretty good game. They have about 200,000 active players. One of the goals that I've seen is to get the game on the Oculus Quest Store, which has only about 275 premium games on there right now. So if this one made it on there, it'd be a very small pool. As you can see, the overall Quest average monthly content revenue is about 60 million. So being one of the 275 would be a big chunk of that. One of the reasons I chose Cell VR is because it's still in alpha state and it has lots of room for improvement. There's no other designers or anybody to step on their toes whenever I recommend an improvement. So that's really nice. And VR is a really good parallel for industrial design or product design due to its three-dimensional properties. And I wanted to study that relationship. Sail is trying to grow to be on more platforms. So if I make any recommendations to help them, that would be great. Problem statement: use industrial design principles and process to assess pain points in the game and make recommendations for potential improvement to help grow the game to the numbers that the developer is looking for. My ideation process is as follows. I've been making YouTube videos to annotate the process to just kind of keep me on track. I started by playing the game to get a feel for how everything works, and then I made a wireframe to map out the user interface and features. I went through the game again to find the pain points in the game and potential points for improvement. I experimented with the potential recommendations for improvements, and I also plan on interviewing one of the developers. Once I get all of that, I'm going to bring everything together and repeat the process until I have everything down. As mentioned before, I'm using the industrial design process to help me assess the game and potential ways for improvement. 10 good design practices that industrial designers use is to make sure it is innovative, to make the product useful, to make it aesthetic, make a product understandable, and make sure it is unobtrusive, make sure that it is honest, it is long-lasting, it is thought down to the last detail, it is environmentally friendly, and that it involves as little design as possible. Happily, I won't have to worry about number 9 as much due to it being digital. Some of my recommendations from before I made into visual guides, such as the ship having the ship customization right next to the ship so that you can change everything in real time and have a better understanding of how things are going to look. I also had the start menu change from being out on an island to being on an active ship. There's still some improvements that could be made here because the menu is a little too high, but I wanted to use this as a visual representation on how nice it can look. One of the other ones was making the tutorial videos a little bit more visible by putting stands around them so that they wouldn't disappear in the distance, and this is kind of how that would look. I'd like to do more ideations on this though. The other one was putting all the ships together out on the dock. I've been told that you can access all the ships once you've purchased them, but having it where it's clearly laid out will really help the player be able to just jump on the preferred ship and go. Additionally, I would want all of the ship customizations on each dock. One would be here, one would be here, one would be here, and one would be here. The other one was having items highlighted whenever you're about to pick them up. This is a rough approximation, but using this blue glow whenever you're about to pick something up will really help the player understand that they're about to grab that specific item. In this specific scenario, I was trying to grab the bottle and I ended up picking up a cannonball. And lastly, just making more diegetic UI. Diegetic is just something that exists in the world for those who do not know. And instead of having these white circles and these gray circles, I opted for having a belt, so the sword would hang off of the belts, and then you'd have a bag here for your inventory, and then you have a rolled up ship's map for your ship's map. Additionally, in this one, it's really hard to tell that the inventory is an inventory because it looks like a little map due to this dotted line. So having it as a little bag would be way more clear. Currently, I'm trying to figure out which concentrated direction that I want to go into, either redesigning the tutorial level, redesigning the shop system, or generally making improvements on usability. Right now, I'm leaning between redesigning the shop system and the tutorial system. Once I'm done with this video, I'm going to ask the Discord, and then I'm going to work on more ideation. If you see this, feel free to message me with what you would like to see. Lastly, I'm going to just try to do some testing and validation. So I'm going to make multiple versions of the recommendations and hopefully implement them in Unity and test them out myself. And then once I have some videos and some representation, then I'll be able to put them online and conduct a poll to determine what the best version is. Thank you very much.